Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unearthing a massive 1,500-year-old archaeological mystery, one that completely reframes our understanding of one of history's most devastating events. We are going to dig into some truly incredible recent findings that shift our entire view, from microscopic bacteria to the real, lived experiences of ancient people.
Imagine standing in the ancient hippodrome at Jerash, over in modern-day Jordan. Picture being an archaeologist there, carefully excavating the dirt and debris of this massive, abandoned public arena, only to realize you're standing directly on top of a mass grave. Hundreds of bodies hastily buried and hidden away from millennia and a half.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap to solve this ancient cold case today. First, a chilling ancient discovery, followed by the plague of Justinian. Then we'll examine a sudden deadly moment, uncover some hidden mobile societies, and finally look at why pandemics are, at their core, social events.
Starting with Part 1, a chilling ancient discovery, the first confirmed plague mass grave.
Our physical scene of the crime is the ancient city of Jerash. Now, historical texts have talked about disease in this era for literally centuries, but finding firm physical proof of plague burials, that's been incredibly elusive until right now. I mean, just imagine hearing the panicked cry, "A plague is upon us," echoing through those stone streets. During the Byzantine Empire, this mysterious and highly lethal disease began wiping out massive numbers of people. It was a crisis of unimaginable scale, leaving a permanent scar on human history and fundamentally altering the society of the time.
To solve a cold case this incredibly old, you need a spectacular modern team. An interdisciplinary group from the University of South Florida, led by Associate Professor Reyes H.Y. Zheng, took on the challenge. They are absolute experts in genomics, archaeology, and history, publishing their groundbreaking findings in the Journal of Archeological Science. They didn't just dig up bones here, they literally sequenced DNA to piece together a totally lost reality.
Moving on to Section 2, the Plague of Justinian, the first recorded bubonic plague.
So, who or what was the actual culprit behind all this mass death? Well, experts widely believe it was the Plague of Justinian, the very first recorded outbreak of bubonic plague to completely sweep through the Mediterranean basin. This outbreak kicked off right around 541 CE. By 600 CE, it had relentlessly spread across the entire Byzantine Empire, and get this, it doesn't truly end until 750 CE. We are talking about 2 centuries of recurrent, devastating waves of disease. This wasn't just some brief, localized outbreak, it was one of humanity's first major global health crises. And this research, it represents a massive paradigm shift. Earlier studies mostly focused on just isolating the genetic signature of the plague bacterium itself, but Dr. Zhang and her team pivoted. They wanted to move beyond just identifying the pathogen. Their goal was to uncover the human story, to figure out who these victims actually were, how they lived their daily lives, and what a pandemic truly looked like inside a real, breathing ancient city going through absolute crisis.
Which brings us to Section 3, a sudden, deadly moment, examining the mass grave. The physical evidence left behind at the Jerash Hippodrome is just a massive historical anomaly that breaks literally all the rules of ancient archaeology. Think about traditional ancient cemeteries. They developed very gradually, over generations, usually containing local families. But the Jerash mass grave? Completely different story. This was a single chaotic event. Hundreds of people from incredibly diverse backgrounds were buried together in a matter of days. It just paints this vivid picture of absolute, terrifying panic where normal societal rituals completely broke down.
Hundreds. Just pause and think about that number for a second. Hundreds of bodies. And they weren't carefully laid to rest in some dedicated, sacred graveyard either. The evidence shows these individuals were placed incredibly quickly, directly on top of discarded pottery debris, right in the middle of an abandoned public arena. The sheer scale and speed of this mortality event is honestly just staggering.
Which, of course, naturally leads us to ask the most important question of all. Who were these people? We've established the grim biological reality of the grave, sure, but to truly understand this event, we have to uncover the human identities of these victims.
Let's get into Section 4, revealing hidden mobile societies and uncovering the social network.
Now, this is where the detective work gets incredibly fascinating. This mass grave didn't just tell us how these people died, it accidentally revealed a massive secret about how they lived and interacted. For years, researchers wrestled with this thing called the ancient mobility paradox. Basically, historical texts suggested people traveled widely back then, yet physical evidence, like highly localized DNA profiles found in standard burial sites, almost always suggested communities stayed completely local and isolated. So how could both be true? Well, modern genomic sequencing of the Jerash mass grave proves that both patterns absolutely did coexist. Normal migration usually unfolded so slowly over generations that it essentially blended into everyday life, making it nearly impossible to detect in standard burial grounds.
So the really crucial point here is that this tragedy acted like a flash photograph in the dark. It instantly captured a highly mobile, incredibly diverse population, revealing distinct geographic origins right there in their DNA that was normally spread out across the region. These individuals belonged to a hidden mobile society that was part of the wider urban community, and they were only united in this single location because of a sudden moment of overwhelming crisis.
Lead researcher Reyes H. Wise Yang actually summed this up perfectly. She noted, pandemics aren't just biological events, they're social events. That is just such a powerful quote, isn't it? It completely shifts our mindset from simply cataloging ancient archaeology to actually learning profound sociological lessons about how diseases intersect with the very fabric of our daily lives.
And that leads us to our final section, Part 5. Pandemics are social events, the timeless human story.
When we look back at this 1,500-year-old event, we are basically looking in a mirror. The way this ancient crisis played out beautifully and tragically reflects human behavior across time. Just notice these timeless vulnerabilities: dense cities, widespread travel, and environmental changes. These were the exact factors that made the Byzantine Empire so susceptible to the plague of Justinian in the first place. And guess what? They are the exact same factors that shape our global health crises today. The intersection of human movement, urban density, and the spread of disease remains remarkably consistent.
Ultimately, pandemics reveal exactly who is vulnerable, and more importantly, why. The specific pathogens might change over the millennia, from ancient bubonic plague to modern viruses, but the underlying truth absolutely does not. The way a society is structured, who travels, who mixes, and how a community handles a sudden influx of crisis, that dictates whether that society survives or collapses. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. When a major crisis hits us today, what will future archaeologists learn about our social connections 1,000 years from now? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this journey into the Jerash mystery hasn't just shed light on an incredible piece of ancient history, but also encouraged you to see exactly how relevant the past is to understanding our lives right now. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.